So my first question is, when did you first hear about the Burpo family and their whole story?
The book had sold over 8 million copies, and I had still never heard of it. And I grew up in a real practicing family, a Christian family, but I've never been one to read what you'd call inspirational books, or I don't particularly like them. I don't especially relate to them. So I did not know about this book, and I got a phone call that Joe Roth, the producer, was doing this. I really respect Joe, and I looked at the story, and I didn't believe it at first when I saw the book cover. I thought, I'm not going to want to do this. But then I read it, and I was hooked.
Yeah, so what was it about the story that really grabbed you?
That it was real. And it wasn't just that the title is particularly beautiful to me, in that it's not just that heaven is for real, but the story of this life on earth, this family, what they did, it just felt so real. And that helped me believe in the rest of it. And that became a guiding way for how to make the movie. That we make everything in this has to be completely believable. Something that whenever they raise a question, that the characters in the story are having the same questions that the audience would raise.
Right, makes it very a relatable movie to watch.
Yes.
Definitely. Well, when you get into talking about heaven, the afterlife, and everything, there's a lot of people have a lot of different opinions
Yes.
about that. What were you kind of hoping to do in this film? Kind of addressing the idea of the afterlife. How did you want to kind of tackle that?
I wanted the big revelation for me about how to tackle the afterlife was to portray heaven, to show the audience heaven. The audience wants to see what heaven's like. And the elements that I wanted to use were the elements from this earth, not to try to create something that's unlike anything we've ever seen here on earth, but to think that what we see on earth at its most beautiful is what heaven must surely be like. And I also wanted the audience to get past the notions that they had to understand something in their head to ever see heaven. That heaven is not about coming to an understanding. Heaven is about an experience of accepting love and trusting. It's faith, hope, and love is how one gets to heaven.
Very good. And so, talking with the Burpo family, I mean, were you inspired by Colton? I mean, what a strong, young boy to stand up and kind of, still proclaim, even, to this age, people would be doubting of, what his story.
And there are plenty of people
Yeah.
that think that Todd more or less made up the story and fed it to Colton, that this was a hallucination and any of those things. And the funny thing is that there are tons and tons of people who have had near-death experiences and who describe these things in really similar ways.
Yeah.
So the question becomes, all right, now, do you believe the story or not believe it? But if you believe it, so what?
Yeah.
What's going to be different for you if you believe in heaven? What will change? And those are great questions, I think, worth asking.